Mama. What is this? Okay. Let's continue knitting this top. Mowgli, did you just burp? Hi, Charity. Hi, Christy. Ah, Lainey, you came right on time. I'm just picking back up. I haven't touched this top since the last live stream. So I feel like I should put more work into it. As I've said before, this is kind of like just like my relax. Oh, this is like my relax piece. Like I don't have a timeline for it. Just kind of like doing it for fun. So this whole last week, I actually ignored this project because I may or may not have started a new knit whip. I may have casted something on last Friday and started knitting something. I don't want to, like, I want to show it off to you guys, like show you my progress and what I'm making. But all I'm going to say is Jordan comes onto the live stream sometimes and I don't want him to see. So I can't. He's going to see it. He's going to come on. I think last week too, he didn't comment anything, but when he came home, he was like, oh yeah, I watched your live stream. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I can't quite show it. I might show you guys the yarn that I'm working with though. But surprisingly, I've made like really good progress with that top. And I've only picked it up like 3 times. And I'm about to start working on the body because it's like a top down. So I've been putting in some work. Malika. I hope I'm saying that right. Malika. It's your girl. Hi, Madison. Hi. Lainey, you just got a ton of yarn from, Bernat Casa. Bernat Casa has like a couple different textures in it, right? I feel like I've seen that. And there's like a boucle. Maybe it's just like 2 different fibers, textures. But I liked it, if that's the yarn that I'm thinking of. Secrets. I know. I feel like I can't show it. Like I'm filming a little bit, like showing it like in videos that I'm filming right now. But so I talked about this last time. Typically, I don't really like making like crocheting, knitting things for Christmas gifts. Like it's just not my thing. It's too much pressure. So I'm trying not to put pressure on myself with that one because if I don't get it done in time for Christmas, like I'm not bothered by that. But for whatever reason, I think just because I had just bought some new yarn, sweater quantities, and I was like, I kind of want to make something for you know who. And I hope he's actually going to like it. My worry is that he's not really picky, like when it comes to texture and fibers and stuff, but he's like very simplistic. And I think I just got too excited, and the yarn that I picked out is it's a bulky weight, but it's also super fluffy because it's baby alpaca. So now I'm worried that it's like too much for his style, you know? Oh, you know who just texted me? If he said he's watching right now, then we need to stop. We need to stop talking. Okay, no, it's something else. Oh, you guys ever do that? You're listening to like YouTube music and then you lock your phone? Mary, I haven't seen you in so long. That's the thing though. It's like I thought about telling him like, "Hey, don't watch the live stream," but then I have to explain to him that I'm making something and he doesn't even know that. He has I really hope he's not watching. If you're watching, Jordan, please go away. I love you. Go away. But like I don't even want I want it to be like a complete surprise. And I haven't said anything. I haven't shown anything. I like hide it. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of deadlines for Christmas. Like last year I still have the knitting machine. So it was really easy to just like bang out 5 or 6 beanies, but other than that, I don't making stuff for people. It's different like when I really want to and like when they're asking me, coming to me with like a specific idea. But if they're like not even asking at all, I'm sounds selfish, but I don't want to go out of my way, especially like knitting crochet projects are big. Unless it's a beanie, it's a big project, you know? Okay, so I'll show you guys the yarn. This, I should pull out the other yarn because it's not variegated. It's an ombre. So this is just one of the colors. Okay, you know what? I'm going to show you like an inch of it so you guys see the colors. But I got this during Universal Yarns Black Friday sale. They had 30% off their entire website and it was only for like 2-3 days. So I think each ball, I think originally is like $14.99, $15 on their website. It's Rico Design. And then with the 30% off, it was like $9 a ball. So I grabbed 7 and I was like, let's go. So this is what it is. The name escapes me, but it's brand new on Universal's website. It's like the Rico Design, Rico Design Creative. It ends with the word heavens. It's like Rico Design Baby Alpaca Heavens or Rico Design Creative Alpaca Heavens, something like that. I'm sorry if I'm reiterating myself, but this is what it looks like. As you can see, I'm almost at the end of my first little ball here. I think it's majority alpaca. You know what? Why am I doing this to myself? I should just give you guys accurate readings. I don't know why I did it the hard way. Let us see here. Heavens. Okay, so the yarn that I'm using is called Rico Design Fascia Alpaca. I can't even talk. Fashion Alpaca Superfine Heavens. And if y'all are like on your computer, just Google it, like on the side. Just Google it, and you guys will see the gorgeous colors. I got 7 balls in this colorway, and then 7 in a different colorway because I want to make something for myself. But yeah, it's the Fashion Alpaca Superfine Heavens. I think this is in colorway Forest. No, Moss. And let me give you guys some information. This is like turning into like a yarn haul. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is colorway 9 Moss. It is a number 5 bulky, 63% alpaca, 37% polyamide. So that's what I'm using right now. And it's gorgeous. Like very happy when I open the package. This is what it looks like. And it has like a lip. Can you guys see that? I'm just gonna like grip it. It has a little bit of stretch. I don't know if that's because of the alpaca or the polyamide. Now, I will say, if you guys are beginners, it's not the easiest fiber to either like knit or crochet with. I've noticed like when I'm knitting and I'm trying to go fast, instead of picking up the base of the strand, sometimes I'll accidentally just like pick up, because it's so fluffy, I'll pick up just the fluff. And like I don't realize I didn't pick up the entire strand of yarn. So it's a little bit tricky. But if you guys, I assume crochet is a little bit easier. Very, very fluffy. It kind of hides stitch definition quite a bit. Like I said, it has like this ombre. It's definitely not self-striping. Like the ombre is very, very subtle. The gradient shifts very slowly over time. But I mean, so I'm starting to get to the part, I'm so sad, where it goes back to like the greens and the blues. But look at her. Look how fluffy that is. So in case you know who is here, I'm just going to show like literally an inch of the project. How can I sneak this in here? Okay. So yeah, I'm knitting with this top down. It's like all super top secret. I'm just trying to be very cautious, okay? I know my man. I know he loves to support and watch, and sometimes it makes it hard to surprise people, you know? So that's all I'm going to show, okay? But can you guys see? The ball started off with like this really gorgeous soft teal shade, and then it slowly shifts to like this, it's kind of like a dirty maroon, a dirty burgundy, brown toned burgundy. And then it started getting a little bit lighter and lighter, and then it went all the way up to like tan. It's like a pinky tan, very, very pastel. And then, as I just showed, the rest of the ball is going to continue. See? And like this has like a little bit of green in it. So this is the colorway that I'm working with. If y'all are interested, like I said, it's number 9 moss. Other than like my own personal issue with like not picking up the stitch right because it's so fluffy, it's not even like the yarn's issue, it's mine. I hope that it's just not too like pinky and like red tone. I was hoping, so like the swatch that they show on the website, I need to go back to knitting. The swatch that they show on the website is only like half. So like when you go to Rico Designs photos, they have like a super long photo of like the entire color gradient. But for whatever reason, Universal Yarn crops in and they only show like the top half, like the bottom half of that original photo. So in that photo on Universal's website, it really just looks like teal and green, and that's it. So when I started knitting, like I saw that there was like the burgundy and the tan and the pink, but I should have just planned out better, like where like when I start the sweater, like where in the ball I should start my yarn. Because I just picked it up from the outer edge, the strand on the outside, and started knitting. But if anything, I wish like that pinky burgundy brown color, I wish that was like I had planned it more towards the body section or like the bottom of the top. Instead, it's like the collar and like an inch worth is teal, and then right across the chest it goes into like that brown and burgundy, and I don't want that pinky red shade to be there. Like I wanted most of it to be green and blue. So yeah, personal qualms. But sorry, I was just chatting for so long. Charity just finished my mom's sweater and it was so hard to keep it a secret. I feel you. It's like as you're making it too, you get really excited and you want to show it off so bad because you're so proud of it. And like you also want feedback, like if they like it or not, but you can't say anything. So yeah, I've gotten pretty much to the armpits. I'm about to split for sleeves and the body. And I've only picked it up like 3 or 4 times, but I think not so much my speed that it's due to. I think it's just because it's a number 5 bulky that it's just working up really fast. But once she is done, best believe I will show you guys. Why am I getting an ad? Lainey, yeah, the yarn is so nice. It is very cloud-like and fluffy. I'm a big fan. So I'm glad that I picked up another colorway for myself. I'm not too sure what I want, like what pattern I want to make with it, but I am thinking maybe something top down again, but something more fitted or maybe like cropped, like a cropped bodycon sweater, something like that. I don't know for sure. I have noticed though in the last few weeks my knitting skills and technique have slowly been improving. It's it's like so fun to see because like not only just my speed, but like I'm able to switch between projects a lot quicker and like pick up like where I left off. So before, like when I really wasn't knitting and like I started this top here, every time I'd come back to it, it took me like a good minute or two to like find that rhythm, or actually like a few rows to like find that rhythm, remember how I was gripping the yarn. And now I can just pick up and go like I never left it. And to me, that's a good sign that I'm getting a little bit more like muscle memory with the knitting. Charity, yeah, I mean, I think it was just however Universal posted the photo. I think just because they have a specific dimension for their photos. So in order to fit that dimension, like for example, you go on Instagram and like for their photos, like they want a square, but you've taken a rectangle photo, like a portrait, and like you kind of have to crop in or like only select a portion of that photo. I think that's what the issue is with Universal, or like what they choose to do is like their formatting. But I also like after I got the yarn, you can go. I just Googled the name of the yarn, the colorway, and then multiple like blogs and even like Rico Designs website had an accurate photo of the swatch, and they showed the entire rectangle photo with the entire gradient. So just a note, like for myself and for others, if you're gonna get something and you're not too sure how the color looks, um, even if it looks like accurate to you, like nothing's missing, always like Google search the yarn, maybe even go on Ravelry, see people's projects with it, and just like try to get a better feel for how the yarn is actually going to be when you receive it. I definitely love the colors. I'm not at all against the red and the tan and the pink. I think it just kind of threw me off with their website, but plenty of other websites had accurate full swatch photos. See, guys, I can get some speed behind me now. Not too bad. And you know what? At the very least, in the last month, I learned how to do the continental purling. And you guys might be like, you're crazy. So I'm just going to say this as a hot take. I actually have been having more fun purling on my purl rows than I do knit. I think just because I'm so used to the knit stitch that it's kind of like boring for me now. But Low key, every time I come up on a purl row, I get excited. I just like the rhythm of it a little bit more. Like the feel of it, which is crazy because like 2, 3 weeks ago, I was talking about how much I hate purling. And now that I found this little technique, I'm in love. Oh yeah, and just a heads up so you guys know, I'm just gonna do a little bit shorter of a live stream today. So maybe like another 20, 20 to 30 minutes. Definitely under an hour. Because in case you guys saw my little Instagram story, I'm officially starting to dye up the Avatar Advent today. Today. I'm only gonna start off with one of the colorways right now, so I can kind of get a feel for how I'm gonna be doing the rest. It's nothing too different, but I think just the fact that it's gonna be a different flow of dyeing yarn because usually for me it's the full hanks. So how I typically like layer the colors and pour in the color, I'm used to with the full hanks. Like they're a lot thicker, they're long. And now that I'm doing the mini hanks, it's much thinner. Like I don't need as much dye. Um, I also know to myself, like I can't pour too much in the pot because with the full hanks, you need a lot of dye to like soak through the whole thickness, like the whole palette of it. Is that even a thing? But with the minis, it's very, very thin. So depending on how I want the colorways to come out, I need to like kind of figure out a slightly different strategy. But yeah, I'm starting the Avatar Advent literally right after this live stream. I started soaking the first batch of yarn this morning. So it's ready. It's ready to be dyed up. And the hard thing too now is like this whole process of me dyeing the Avatar Advent, until it's done, I can't share anything with you guys. Like, I mean, that's the point of the Avatar or the Advent. Like for a few of the colorways, I already have a name picked out or like an idea of a name. But I can't, I want it to be as much of a surprise as possible for you guys as well. So that's kind of like the downside is like I can't share any of the colorways that I'm working on. I can't share, like updates like that. All I can really tell you is like how far along in the process I am. But yeah, I will be filming a good portion of it for like a YouTube video, but that won't be out until probably until we are like done with the Advent, like opening everything, unboxing. So it's kind of lonely. It's kind of lonely. Like I love sharing so much of what I do with you guys and getting feedback. And now begins the part where all of it is like under wraps. But yeah, I just wanted to update you guys and let you know that officially the dyeing will begin today. There we go. Stephanie G, hello. Finally caught one of your live streams. Welcome. Is this your first one? I've been way better at my consistency with live streams the last like 2 months. Way better. So at least this is something that you can expect from me most weeks. I'm sure there will come a time when I need to skip one. But for now, we are on the weekly and it feels good. Charity, at the moment, I still have not tried the amigurumi just yet, but I told you guys that I am planning to attempt that for the very first time. I thought I was gonna have some time this week. Oh, my lantern, no, no time. Just other things I need to take care of. But I am hoping this next week to finally start working on the little stuffed toy that I want to make for my nephew. And that's not at all a secret. So once I start working on that, like the next live stream, you guys will probably see an update on how it's going. Yeah, I've decided. I already bought most of the yarn. I got the polyfill for it. Um, what else? I need one other colorway of yarn. I've gone to 2 Michaels and a Joanne to find the colors that I want. 2 of the Michaels did not have it at all. And then I went to Joanne because they said they had it in stock in store. And I go in, they only have one of the colors that I need. And then I tried asking a worker, one of the employees there. It was such an awkward encounter too. I was just like, "Oh, hi, like, could I ask you for help?" And she like just gives me side eye. Like she's like doing something like with the shelves. And she's just like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'm sorry." And I was like, "I'm looking for this kind of yarn." Like I pull it up like on the app so she can see. I'm like, "This is the yarn that I'm looking for. It says that you guys have like 7 of these in stock. I just can't seem to find it. Could you help me locate it?" And like she doesn't even look at me. She just like goes back to what she's doing. And she was just like, she's like, the app is inaccurate. And I was like, hmm? And she was just like, it's our inventory is not accurate on the app and on the website. So even though it's saying that we have something, it's not right and we probably don't have it. So if you don't see it on the shelf, we don't have it. All the times that I've used the Joanne app just to like see stock, they've always been accurate. So I don't know if she was just saying that because she didn't want to help me. And likely she probably knew like if they did have it in stock, she'd have to stop what she was doing, go to the back room to find it and search through it, all to get some silly little customer 1 ball of yarn. It's like I get it, but I don't think I really bought the I didn't really buy what she was selling. I don't think it was out of stock. I think they like had a ton that they purchased and they just hadn't stocked it yet. But I've had plenty of like encounters like at Michael's when I got really excited because I saw a new yarn had been added at Michael's and I went in there and I stopped some employees like multiple times. I think this was when the Karen Blossom cakes first came out and I was on a manhunt to find that yarn. Like I think I went to so many stores. But the app, the Michael's app said that they had the Karen Blossoms like in stock at the location I was at. So I went in, didn't see it on the shelves, and I asked a coworker, same situation. Hi, the app says that you guys have this yarn here. I can't seem to find it. Could you give me some information? And like both times, the employees were so kind to me. They were like, "Oh, you know what? Yeah, we did get that yarn yet, but we haven't like put it up on the shelves yet." And then I would just ask, like, "Okay, like I'm not going to take up your time, so just let me know like what day do you plan on stocking it?" And then sometimes, like one time, even the employee was like, "Oh, if you just give me like 5 minutes to finish what I'm doing, I'll run to the back and I'll pull out a few of the colorways for you to like look at." And I was like, "That would be amazing. Take your time. I'll be standing right here. Do your thing." And then he like went into the back and he was like, "Yeah, we're not stocking it until tomorrow." But he was like, "I'll show you a few." It's like, okay. So yeah, that's my long tangent on my experience at Joann's. I'm not turned off at all by that. But needless to say, I haven't started the plushie yet. Haven't started the stuffed toy yet. But I think it should be a fairly relatively quick make. I was going over the pattern that I purchased and they were able to fit Like for amigurumi, I've got the head, the body of the animal, the arms, and like the other parts of whatever creature you're making. And they were able to fit all the directions on like a page and a half, like, which is awesome. So I'm assuming that it's going to be like a couple rows and I'm done in theory. And I'm also going to be using Bernat baby blankets. Bernat Bernat baby blanket yarn. So it's thick, it's chunky, super fluffy. And hopefully she's done. And I don't have to stress about finishing a stuffed toy, the day before Christmas. It's not my vibe. But for that Christmas gift, I am on a time crunch because my sister-in-law will be at Jordan's mom's house where we all meet up for Christmas. She should be there during the time that Jordan and I are visiting, which means the baby boy will be there, which means that toy needs to be done by Christmas. I can't lag on that one. I feel like this is a much more peaceful live stream. I don't know why. I feel like the chat is a little bit slower today, which is totally fine. Usually I'm like struggling to keep up with everybody and like read. Either that or my live stream always lags. Like my chat is always behind. Like I think just depending on like my Wi-Fi, sometimes it's like in the moment that I say something, I'll see you guys chat like what I'm talking about. And then other times, like the chat like won't move at all. And then all of a sudden it'll like zoom and add a bunch in. And then I'm like struggling to chat, struggling to read. I think also once I get towards the end of this top, I've tried to reread the directions a couple times, but I'm still kind of not 100% sure what needs to be done before I join the front and the back. So I think I might have to message or email the designer of this pattern for some clarity because I finished most of the back panel. As you guys can see, I don't want to drop stitches. I finished most of the back panel. And then for like the last few rows, there were a few instructions. And I was looking at it like, what? Huh? Sorry, I blanked out. So I kind of just decided to put everything, to hold everything, and then come back to the back panel. Because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing quite yet for that. So I'm just going to move on to the front panel and then I'll come back to it when I think I've figured it out. So I'm not necessarily 100% done with the back panel. But I just was like, screw this. I'm not going to waste any more time. So I just held all my stitches and moved to the front panel where at least I can just do stockinette until I figure it out. So we'll see. We'll see. I hope that they respond and can help me out. Oh, something about the purl stitches. Something about this rhythm just feels so right. Oh, such an interesting question. Okay. Oh, Christina said continental pearl is so fun. It's crazy because I was hating on it when I was first trying to learn, hating on the pearls so bad. But now that I've gotten a little bit more experienced with it, I love pearling. Just I mean, after a certain amount of time, my hand does like my finger from having moved from front to back, like throwing the yarn like this, it does kind of get sore. I didn't do that right. Uh, we didn't do that right. Um, okay, since we're here in real time, does anybody know how to like, without me having to like undo the stitch, how to fix it? Like when you're just trying to do standard purl or like a knit, and then you end up with two strands on the top. Obviously, that means I didn't pull through correctly. Do you guys have like a simple fix? Can you guys see that? I think I just need to drop off one of the stitches, but it's like one of the strands. But which is the question? Where did my music go? I know you're not done. Any help? I pulled through two when I wrapped around. Pulled through two. Do you mean like I inserted into two stitches instead of inserting my needle through one? Oh lordy, because I'm looking at it right now and I'm not sure which strand to drop. I think they're both gonna screw me over. Lainey, you pulled through part of the current stitch and the wraparound. Okay, yeah. That's what I think happened. Oh Lord. I'm gonna have to just see what happens if I drop you. Am I shooting myself in the foot? Oh, I think it's okay. Oh, Lainey, you're a genius. Yeah, I don't know how to tell which is which. I just kind of took a shot in the dark, and that's why I was like, I'm just gonna drop one of the stitches and see what happens. I dropped the right one though. I dropped the right one. Lainey, thank you. Look at that. Look at that. We only got one now. I somehow dropped. I'm sure, when I get more experienced, I'll be able to tell which is which. Like with crochet, it's so easy to just like look at it and be like, oh, I can see where I worked that stitch wrong. This is gonna look okay. Oh, we're good. We're good. We're good. It looks good. I mean, and at the end of all things, one messed up stitch, it's not gonna harsh my vibe. Like it's all the same. It's such a tiny stitch too. It'll be so well disguised. But if I have the opportunity to try to fix it in the moment instead of being lackadaisical with it, I'll take that chance. You're a genius, Laney. Thank you. Saved me. Yay, great job. Thank you. Deborah, your knitting looks amazing. Thank you. That's such a huge compliment because I am naturally not a knitter. I wouldn't say naturally. I am majority a crocheter. So my knitting is very limited. And this is my first project that I've picked up in about a year's time. So I am also equally impressed that I'm able to pull off as much as I have, having been out of circulation in the knit world. Need to move my stitches up. Love your videos and made your pullover. Pullover. Which one? Because I know depending on like where we're from, some people call a sweater a pullover. Um, was it the 15-hour crochet one, or was it like the color block one, or was it that green men's sweater that I made? And I just burped. That is disgusting of me. I'm sorry. While I have you guys here in the chat, out of curiosity, although you guys see me primarily do crochet, I would assume that like 90% of my viewers crochet as well. But I'm very curious of those who are here in the chat. How many of you guys knit or knit primarily? Because I honestly have no clue. Like, how many of you here prefer knitting most of the time, or most of your experiences with knitting? Can you guys let me know in the chat? I'm just so curious. Look at this. I'm so happy. Although I'm trying not to rush through it, I do kind of wish like this was closer to being done. But the sock weight is still throwing me. It's just so stinking tiny. Like 5 rows of like 100 stitches doesn't mean shit. Like it doesn't look like you did anything. Yay. Okay, thank you guys for letting me know. Okay, let's read some of these. Nyam, I hope I'm saying that right. You're a majority knitter, just picked up crochet recently. Okay. Nyam, have you been following me for a minute? Because I feel like I recognize your name. Or have you just recently like joined? Christy just started knitting recently. Yay. It's honestly so fun. I think it's smart to like have a little bit of experience with both, because in situations, I haven't really talked to you guys about it. I'm not really feeling burnt out, but for whatever reason, I haven't had the urge to crochet. Like a lot of my urges recently have been knitting. So I think it's really smart to just have I almost said expertise, experience with both, because you guys can start different projects, and when you kind of get when you lose the momentum with one, lose the passion and the drive with one, just kind of like leave it alone for a little bit, which is what I'm doing. Just I haven't even thought of it, put it away, and I've just been having a blast with knitting. And to me, it's just so different. And then when I'm good and ready, or like when I get to a point where I'm kind of like, okay, I've been knitting so much, I'm over this for now, I can go back to my crochet project. I feel like I've told you guys, if you guys have been watching the recent live streams, almost 2 months ago now, it's been a while, I started a new crochet pattern, which I'm also trying to turn into a tutorial as well on the channel. But I was really excited when I first started it. It's not very long to make by any means. I think I'm using a DK or a worsted. But, I started it with a lot of momentum, very excited. I'm about 2/3 done with the cardigan. That's the cardigan where I'm using my colorway Practical Magic. And then I think just with all the other stuff that I was trying to juggle and balance, I kind of haven't been in the mood recently to crochet, like at all. And if I really sit down and do the math, Oh man. I could probably even look in my phone to see the last time I crocheted. Let's see. I'm kind of curious. I feel, I don't want to say feel bad. I feel like I'm outing myself because I'm primarily a crocheter. Thank you. Hey, okay, thank you. Delivery man just came. Shh, 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 shh. That's a good boy. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yep. I saw him. Thank you. Okay, thank you. This dog. I'm trying to find the last time I crocheted so I can show you guys or just update you because it's been a minute. Oh, no way. Yeah, I kind of feel like I'm outing myself right now. But to be completely honest, the last time I crocheted was exactly a month ago, which is kind of baffling for me. And as much as I feel like an obligation, almost like a responsibility to crochet again, I just don't want to force it. I'm just not, I want to come back to it when when the feelings to crochet are like really prevalent, or when I'm thinking about it more, or when I just like genuinely feel the excitement, like the urge, and I haven't had the urge. And I don't know what it is because I don't necessarily feel burnt out. Like maybe that's what burnout is, like a style of it. But the last time I was crocheting, I didn't feel like, oh, I don't want to do this project anymore. Oh, I'm over it. This is boring. I definitely didn't feel bored by any means. I think a lot of it too is just the current priorities and like things that I need to do, things that are on my plate right now are just a little bit more, they're just a little bit more of a priority. So I've been taking a break from crochet. I cannot believe it's actually been a month. But on the flip side, I've still been creating, as you guys seen with the knitting. I'm still knitting. Yeah, I think there's just a lot of back end stuff, like besides just creating and crocheting, there's so many other things I'm trying to juggle, like trying to figure out stuff with my website. Also, just a huge part of it is just a lot of the planning, not only for the Avatar Advent, but for future Advents, and just like other collections that I want to do. I don't know if you guys saw, but on my Instagram stories, I was pretty much informing you guys that I'm actually in the process of expanding my yarn bases. So I want to add on a few different new fiber bases that I've never had before. I'm just going to give you guys some more options. So I have like my work cut out for me. I have a bunch of fibers that I want to add, and I'm trying to limit it to only like 3 or 4 new bases because Lord knows it gets expensive. And like for one base, I could get that in sock, sport, DK, worsted. So that's 4 different packages of yarn right there for one base. So I think at the moment I'm just trying to figure out the right, like I already have the bases that I want, but I'm trying to figure out which weights of yarn I want to order it in and like stock it in. But yeah, recently knitting has just been my happy place. It's been giving me motivation. Okay, I didn't even read the rest of these. I'm sorry. You're a beginner knitter, but you want to get into it more. Ruby, you knit more than you crochet, but you love both. Okay. Okay, I'm here for it. Alexis just started to learn how to knit. Marie, only crochet currently, but you want to do knitting as well. Ephraim, that's funny. Completely bi-stitchual, mostly knit. We like the flexibility. Lainey, you're pretty new. Okay, so you've only been crocheting since May of this year. And then you just started knitting like a month ago. So you're relatively still new to fiber arts. How fun. And you're learning fast. Oh, thank you. Your name is pronounced Neve. Neve. Neve Frizzell. Neve. I will remember that. Beatrice, you've been knitting for 6 years. Tried picking up crochet a few times, but it seems impossible to me. Lainey, this mistake that I made with that double stitch, is that what it's called? Technically a double stitch? Oh yeah, I guess because the next row, if I were to separate the two, I would have an extra stitch. Okay. You literally figured that out only 2 days ago. You know what's funny is with this one, because like the yarn, I'm like struggling a little bit. I've done that several times, like double stitched. And I don't know, especially like with the bulky, fluffy one, I don't know how I was able to figure it out, but I've done the double stitch on accident so many times with that project. But like within a matter of like 2 seconds, I was able to look at it and just be like, oh, just drop one. And somehow it was always the right one. I guess it's when you have the double stitch, every time I'm just dropping that first one on like the edge of the needle. And I guess how the stitches work, that's the right one to drop every time. But for whatever reason, I just kind of like was taking a shot in the dark. I've probably double stitched like 10 times on that top so far. But like I said, every single time, I like didn't even hesitate. I was just kind of like, oh yeah, one of these is not the right strand. And I just dropped one and it worked out fine. And I don't have any drop stitches. Or maybe I do, but because it's so fluffy, the fluffs got like attached and like entangled with each other. I don't know. It's too late though. It's too late to figure that out. Lauren, I'd say I'm an experienced crocheter, can take on any pattern. I'm adventurous beginner with knitting, but I've really started to love it. Alexis, my doggy was barking with Mowgli. Where is he? Oh, he's right there. Oh, okay. So something else I was talking about in the last live stream was the fact that people kept asking me for the link to the Discord. And I was going on this huge rant because, if you guys remember, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Instagram was telling me that the link that I had in my bio was spam and that I'm not allowed to have it up. And it's like the same Linktree link that I've had for like at least a year and a half. To this day, I still don't know what they were saying was spam, but I was able to essentially delete my entire like Linktree thing and start again. So for all of those who are looking for the Discord link and would like to share photos or videos of your doggies or your kitties or your knit whips, crochet inspiration, crochet FOs, whatever it is. If you guys have questions, if you guys want to self-promote, what have you, I have the Linktree, my bio link is back in my bio. And the Discord link is in the bio. So if you guys are looking for the Discord link, which I was struggling with last week, it has been added back to my bio, the link in my bio. So it's there if you guys are looking for it. It was missing for like a week and a half, but somehow I got it figured out. And then I need to finish this row so I can drink some water and then talk to you guys more. I'm going to hold that thought. Hold on. I've got like 15 stitches to go. Oh. Shh. Thank you. Thank you. Good boy. Yes, I know somebody was there. Thank you for telling me. That's a good watchdog. What time is it? 2:20. All right, I'll probably go like another 5 minutes, 4 minutes, and then we're going to tap out of here. I'm going to put a halt on the knit. Halt on the knit. All right, I'm going to pause this, drink some water, and then give you guys the last bit of updates. Protector boy. He's very protective. Thank you guys, by the way, for hopping on the live. I know it's always spur of the moment, but I'm always so thankful that you guys are willing to come on and join me. Oh, it's an ad. So the very last, maybe not the very last, but the next update I wanted to give you all, in case you didn't see it, I opened up pattern tester forms, application forms for the flower blossom sweater. So I think I'm gonna, depending on, I need to check, but depending if I have all the correct sizes applied, I might shut down applications tomorrow or Sunday. But you know what? For once, the sweater is like right there. So I'm gonna get it for you guys. Hold on. Hi, hi, Mama. Good boy. Me. One thing you guys should know about me. If you didn't know already, I'm always cold. I am always cold, so I always have a blanket on. Always. I can't just have my skin out with the air touching it. Like I need to be covered all the time. Anyways, application form for the meshy flower sweater is open. And that link for the Google form to apply is also in my bio. So the Discord link, tester application form link, it's all in the bio if you guys haven't applied already. But this is what she looks like. And I'm geeking out because at first when I was making the design, obviously I wanted to have that mesh style, but I didn't want it to be so see-through. Like I didn't want it to be like I wanted it to still be like an actual clothing item, like still covering my skin, but it's got a little bit of that mesh. So I made this using number 2 sport weight. This is my own hand-dyed yarn, by the way. This is River Spirit. I think I used right underneath 3 hanks for this top. And this is what she looks like. So yeah, she is meshy, but it's not super scandalous. It's very subtle mesh. So you see, like it's meshy, but it's not like gaping, okay? And then the thing that took me the longest to figure out, y'all, when I tell you how many times I sat down to do math and graphs and like little swatches to get the flower stitch right, oh my gosh. Took me several weeks actually. But we got these, oh my hair, I can't today. Another ad. Another ad. Come on. I'm going to try not to get flagged here with music. Come on. Okay, so let me show you guys. The So this is what the flower petals look like. And they have a very slight, because I use sport weight, a very slight 3D effect. So they have a little bit of puff, but it's nothing too crazy. So for my pattern testers, I asked them to just keep it accurate. And I pretty much said, like, to everybody who's applying, I let you guys know that I want everybody to use number two sport weight. But once the pattern is done, I think if you guys were looking for, a little bit more see-through, a little bit more sheer, you could use, like, see, it's not terrible. Like, it's not super, you know, but it is still mishy, mishy. See that? Oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that. So yeah, I want the pattern testers to use the number two sport weight just so that I have an accurate gauge. They have an accurate gauge, and then yardage and all that. But I think it would also be really fun for those in the future who would like to do that pattern with a DK or a worsted weight, because you'll end up getting obviously a little bit more of a sheer effect, a little bit more see-through, but then your flowers would also be much puffier and like much denser. And I think that would also be a really gorgeous kind of like complement to the meshy pattern. So, like, for example, like a worsted weight, Aran weight, it would be a little bit more gaping, a little bit more open and see-through. But then you're gonna have these like huge, obvious, thick flowers, which I think would be stunning as well. So yeah, if you guys want to apply, it is open still. Again, I'm either gonna close it down tomorrow night or Sunday night. Just kind of depends on if I have like the right testers and like the right sizes applied. Alexis, yeah, I'm still accepting all sizes. Like anybody of any size can apply. Um, I just want to keep it open a few more days until I can get, hopefully, I believe it's a 4X and a 5XL to apply, because I want to try to be as size inclusive as possible. I do want to see if this pattern is easily replicable for larger sizes. Honestly, I'm not too worried about that, but just to have that security, that like reassurance that this is going to work for all sizes would be great. But considering that you guys know most of my made to measure stuff doesn't have too much shaping to it. It's a very basic shape, basic construction with like certain design elements. So for example, with this sweater, this little top, you guys see how if you're just looking at like literally just the body panel, you see how it's just straight up and down, no increases, no decreases. It is purely kind of like a boxy. It's a boxy fit, casual fit, no shaping. So that's what she looks like. And then here at the neckline, we have a little bit of neck shaping, just a little bit, just a couple rows like that. Very simplistic. Honestly, the hardest part about this, I mentioned it in the application to apply. I would highly recommend that you be intermediate crochet and above. I think, how certain people label themselves beginner, intermediate, advanced. It's all relative, okay? But I didn't want to just say any beginner could take this up, because even for me being pretty advanced crocheter and me making the design, getting the flower stitch correct can be a little tricky. And then it's not just the flower stitch. I think what's also really important is the row following the flower stitch. So you guys will see, but the way that this is made is 2 rows of simple mesh and then 2 rows which make up the flower petals. So you have a bottom row of petals and then a top row of petals. something like that. So it's two mesh, two flowers, two flower rows, and then two mesh. But with this pattern, obviously the flower puff stitch is very important and how to work that. But like I said, also the following row, um, in order to work that mesh stitch again on top of the flower stitches is what threw me off making the pattern. So I would definitely recommend, highly suggest that you be intermediate and above, um, because I was, do you guys see this hair right now? I blow dried it, but I guess I just didn't do it right today and it's bugging me. But yeah, it's a little tricky. It's not, definitely not impossible, because once I figured out and restarted a few times and figured out what my issue is, it was smooth sailing. Like after that, I didn't even have to look at the pattern. It does get repetitive in the sense that you're just kind of doing the same thing over and over after a few rows. So yeah, and again, that's sport weight yarn. So make sure that you kind of read the application form to see roughly how many yards you would need, because I do want to give you guys enough time to, get all the proper yarn and stuff, but I have in the past, have testers that applied and then they waited to hear that they were accepted. And then of course, naturally then they ordered yarn. But then I had people saying like, "Oh, my yarn's not going to come for like another 2 to 3 weeks." And I'm like, "My dude, testing has begun." So if you can, use yarn stash, whatever, but just try to have as much yarn on hand as possible. App, not application, testing process. I'm going to allow up to a month. I think, the first few patterns, I was very anxious and excited to get them out there. So I was a little bit more strict, a little bit more, um, just allotting for a shorter amount of time, which I think this top would be definitely be able to be made if you guys are consistent with it in like 2 weeks flat. Um, but at the same time, I don't want to put a bunch of stress and pressure on you to like, work your hands off to death just to get this done in time. So I felt like a month would be more than enough time, even for larger sizes, to get this completed. So yeah, it's a month, plenty of time. Very excited. After this live stream, I'm probably gonna go make an iced coffee and then we're gonna dye. We're gonna dye up the first batch of yarn, the first colorway. I kind of thought, you guys know I have that too much gene where like I want to do everything. At first, when I was getting ready to like hank up the yarn and soak it for the dye, at first I was like, I could do like 2 or 3 colors today. I could do it. And then I was like, mm, mm. Don't get ahead of yourself. You got more than enough time right now. Let's be wise about this. I think if I were to put that pressure on myself, I could get 2 to 3 colors done today. But again, I need to kind of gauge how much work it's going to be with each color. So I'm just going to do one, test out the waters, see how it goes, find a rhythm. And then I'll use that knowledge for the second day that I dye advent yarn. And then maybe I can do like 2 colors a day. Like each time I dye, I think I want to successfully do 2 colors. And like I said, at the very latest, I would like to have these advents sent out middle to end of February. But if I can get it done sooner, I would love to get them done sooner as well for you guys. Um, the funny thing is, like, as much as tedious as dyeing yarn is, and how much yarn I have to dye, you see that? You see that? I have a feeling that's not even going to be the longest part of it all. I feel like the part that's going to take me the longest is packaging everything. Like, think about it. Individually wrap, oh my gosh, individually wrap 14 hanks of yarn per box, not even including people that had like add-on hanks. Each box, that's a lot. That's a lot of yarn to just like sit there and wrap by hand. I've been trying to figure out how I want to package the individual yarns, and I'm kind of torn between tissue paper or like little baggies. Like you can't see through them, but like baggies that way I just like not plastic bags, but like craft bags, like try to think outside the box. But I'm kind of stuck between making it easy on myself and just having a bag, a little paper bag, and then I slip the yarn in, fold it, tape it, or if it would be more aesthetically pleasing to like wrap. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck. Oh, okay. I'll answer one more question before I go. I didn't even see this. Sarah, I'd love to hear about how you choose your pattern testers. I'm having trouble getting selected on things I'm applying for and would love some insight. So I'll give you some insight on how, like the things that I look for, and then a little bit about like what I've heard other designers mention. Because again, depending on designers, everybody has their own specific thing that they're looking for. Um, So I think for most designers that I've seen, and also me, one crucial thing is that your page, your Instagram account, we prefer it to be public because if you can only, for example, if you're private and you post a photo, only the people that follow you can see it. And like, random people that don't know about you, they're not going to see your work. So myself and a handful of other creators I've heard talk about, designers talk about, is having a public Instagram page. Honestly, I don't look for too many things. I think what it comes down to is I personally sort first like the testers by size applications because for me that's what's most important is making sure I have enough testers for each size. And then once I figure out like what sizes are available for me, then I'll kind of do a little bit of a deeper dive. Um, so I don't know if I've ever heard anybody talk about this, but something I specifically have been looking for pattern testers is when I don't really care about like your following size or how frequently you post. Like to me, those numbers don't really matter. For me, what I look for when I ask for like your Instagram page is if your account is public. And then second, the big thing is I look to see how people showcase their creations. So one, for example, I look to see like if I go to somebody's page and I don't even know how to say this. Like, so for me, I love it. I love it when people send me photos of them wearing the item or anybody that they love, whoever they ask, but the item physically being worn, because that gives an accurate idea of how it's going to be. I've had a couple of people apply in the past where I go to the page and the only photos they have are like flat lays. So it'll be like the shirt laid out on the floor or on their bed, um, or even like physically like hanging like on a hanger, a clothing hanger, which is not bad. And I definitely don't just discount them, but I prefer to select people who are confident in wearing the pieces because I don't know, I like seeing people wear the items. That's what I look for. Other creators might look for flat lays instead of things being worn. So again, it kind of depends on the creator, but that's the first thing I look for when I go to people's Instagram pages is how they present the finished item. The next thing I look for in regards to that is lighting. How do people light their photos? Because I've had testers in the past, and I've seen other testers, like for other designers, send in like their item that they made is gorgeous, gorgeous. But how they took the photo, for example, it's like very grainy or it's like super dark and shadowy. So that's another thing that I look for is how do you actually position your clothing? Do you get proper lighting? Um, and then what's the other thing I look for? But yeah, honestly, for me, that's like the main part of it is I like to see how you showcase your items. So like, how is my shirt or sweater going to look on your page when it's done? Like, what can I expect essentially from you? So a lot of it has to do with just um, do they wear the item? Are they showcasing it? Do they give different angles of the shirt, whatever, or is it just here and then here? Um, and then again, like the lighting. Lighting is huge because that's what makes things look accurate. So that, for me, that's like what I look for. I'm trying to think what I've seen other designers mention when they're looking for pattern testers. But yeah, I mean, that's just kind of why I'm like kind of blinking on what I think they would want. I don't know. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but that's why we ask for like Instagram pages. It's not only just so that you can, post like, oh, Aaron B has a new pattern, go buy it. It's not just about that. It's just like I also like when I have testers send in their photos, I let them know like, hey, if you send in me photos, um, I might be using them for like cover pages on my pattern. So what I've been trying to do too is um, like not only do I have the item that I made as like a cover page, but then I'll also make other pages with everybody's creation so that when people are coming to look for the pattern, they can see how somebody in their size made it or like just get different inspiration ideas. Um, so I also want to be able to use a solid photo on my cover page. And like, for example, if most people send in a photo of them in really good lighting of their sweater, and then I get one or two that are like super dark and like shadowed, I'll try to go in and correct it as much as I can, but I would like them like color wise to all look the same, brightness wise to all look accurate and the same. So for me, that's what I look for. It's nothing too specific. But yeah, that's why Instagram pages are kind of important because it literally serves as like a portfolio for other designers to look at your work. Asher, I have not named um, all of the colorways. Excuse me. I have general ideas. Like I have a few names picked out, but I'm not sure if I'll stick with it because once the colorway comes out, I want the name to fit it. So if I have like a name and I end up dyeing it different than I'm expecting, I might change the name. But I name ideas, honestly, out of the 14, I think I have like 3 solid names that I would like to stick with. And then for the rest, I'm kind of like, I hope it comes to me. Jordan can also help me because he's a big Avatar fan. Yeah, right? Choosing names for like new hand-dyed yarn always takes me so long. Speaking of which, I also okay, I'm gonna go here in a second. But I was really excited because I just finished before this live stream taking photos, product photos of 3 new colorways that I made just for fun. Because y'all know I was talking about like when I get mystery yarn orders, that's when I make like new colorways sometimes. So I had a couple people, I think I had 2 people place mystery yarn orders. And I was like, okay, here we go. I'm making some new colors. So I have the colorway London Fog that I showed on my stories like 2, 3 weeks ago. But then the other yarn just finished drying, hanged up, took photos of it. Um, and I have 3 more. So a total of 4 new colorways coming. And I think I might put them on the website next week. Definitely before the end of the year, but it's kind of just like my last, because I didn't really have like a winter collection. So I think this might be like my winter, like a little mini winter collection. I don't know. but I'm excited. Some are a little bit pastel-y, some are, like, deeper. Ah, Amara! No, I'm literally about to sign off. Sarah, thank you for answering that. I definitely photograph my items flat instead of wearing them because I'm not comfortable with my face and body on Instagram, but I will definitely consider changing. And honestly, Sarah, if you're still here, don't feel like you need to do those in order to get picked. If you're not comfortable sharing face, body, whatever, that's totally fine. And don't feel pressured to like, oh, like I want to be picked so bad that I need to like start wearing my stuff. I would say, like I said, make sure that it is in good lighting. Maybe you could even try like a little setup. I can like try to give you tips and like look at your Instagram. But like for example, instead of just like having like just like the sweater like on the floor or something, maybe like jazz it up a little bit. Like you guys see like my yarn photos recently, I've been doing um like a silk sheet. I don't know why I keep repeating myself. I'll have that. And then I have some fake flowers and like branches and stuff that kind of go around the yarn. So it adds a little bit more dynamic dimension to the photograph. It's not just like my yarn. Because when I first started the website, it was literally just like my yarn on the floor and it was like so basic. So maybe to like draw in a little bit more of like that aesthetic. Because for me, I would like that. Like if I went to somebody's page, but I saw that like they put in some like effort into like staging the photo. So like you could have like a blanket or like a white cloth down, um, but then you've got like some fake plants or like maybe even like you got the sweater, but like a coffee mug, like a hot coffee mug full of tea or something. Maybe like some Christmas lights like draped on the floor. Um, Stuff like that. Like just try to add a little bit extra sparkle into it. I definitely wouldn't say like if you're uncomfortable with it, don't feel like you need to switch that up. That's just what some designers ask for. And like I said, depending on the designer, they could prefer flat lay photos, but maybe that could help like jazz up the photo a little bit, like give it a little bit extra sparkle, little something. Um, Something a pattern tester sent me in from the Penny Polo. She sent some wearing it, but honestly, my favorites were her the penny polo on a clothing hanger, and she had it up against a white wall. But what kind of sold me was a little bit, just a little bit of the aesthetic where she had either a real or a fake plant in like the outer edge of her photo. So it was just like a fake plant or a real plant that she had in her room up against the wall. But she framed the photo just right that you saw the whole shirt, you saw a nice plain white background, and then like one or two potted plants to fill in those empty spaces of the wall. And for me, when she sent those in, I was like, these photos are killer. Um, what was her name? It might be who was that? It might have been at uh Pizzo on Instagram. It's like PIZZZZZ and then like O. She's probably tagged in my penny polo photos on Instagram, but that could be like a little bit of inspiration for you. Again, you don't gotta wear them. Do your hanger photos, do your flat lays, but add a little bit extra like little thoughtful, intentional things. I think that'd be really cute, honestly. Oh, Sarah, you applied? Yeah, I'll check it out. I think I checked it like on the first couple hours after I posted it. And then at that time, it only said like 10, 15 people applied. So since then, I haven't checked. And oh, sorry, I just read Amar's message. Oh, Amar, did you leave already? Yeah, I'm chatting a little bit longer than I meant to. But yeah, I was just telling them like I'm gonna do 5 more minutes and then I'm gone. You know how I am. Um, what is it saying? Oh yeah, I haven't looked at the update, so I'm not sure how many people have applied at this point. But the last time that I did check it, I still needed I still needed 3XL to 5XL. Okay, you're still here. I was like, "Well, you don't just leave because I said I was gonna leave. You know me, you know my habits." I'll be like, 5 more minutes, and then an hour has gone by, and I'm like, "Oopsie." Yeah. Um, what was I gonna say on that? So, yeah, I'm gonna check Saturday or Sunday, all the applications, get it all sorted out. Yay, I'm so excited. Oh, Amara, I did. You got a good eye. How do you do that? You just know me so well. I literally just got this yesterday. So, it's like right at its prime healing. I'm like right in the sun. I can't. I can't. I'm like right in the sun right now. So yeah, it's very, very fresh. And then he, for the first time ever, he put on that. You can't really see it, but he put on that covering. I don't know what it's called. He told me, but it's like a really thin, like it mimics skin to like protect it. He's never really put that on me before, or he hasn't. And then for the first time, maybe just because of the placement, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna give this to you today." And I was like, "Oh yeah." I got a little addition. We did. It's hard to see because there's like and blood and oozing and stuff underneath it. So you guys can see like it's wet under there. But I'm supposed to leave this on for a few days and just kind of like let it heal. But yeah, hopefully the next live stream you'll be able to see it. Another addition. He's gonna do 2 sessions because he wasn't running late, but he had just so many appointments. And he's like our friend. So I was like, dude, hit me up another time. There's no rush. Like we'll finish it whenever you have time. So we kind of filled in this little gap underneath the mask. Oh yeah, see, look at that. That's dark. Look at all that blood right there. I can like squish it and feel it. Yeah, but hopefully he said he's gonna fill in all of this space right here next time. And then some over here. Still have a good amount. Like look at all this right there. It's all open. But it's almost done. The sleeve is almost there. Just gotta fill in some gaps. We're almost done. Thanks for asking, Amar. It's so funny. I literally got it done less than 24 hours ago, and you're like, I know it. Yeah, it's like a second skin cover. It's kind of hard to. Can you guys see there's like a little bit of plastic right there? It's kind of, you guys see that right there? It's super soft. It feels really good. This is the first time I've ever had that cover. So I can like actually touch it because it's not super sore. But there's literally like a pile of blood in here. Yummy. Yeah. Okay. Now, I can't see every time. You guys can't trust what I say because I started this live and I was like, oh, under an hour for sure. In my head, I was thinking 45 minutes. It's 3 o'clock. Okay. Well, that settles that. I'm going to get going because I need to dye up this yarn. Like, I really want to. And I have it planned today. So I'm going to go now. Thank you guys for joining. I'm so hyped. I love coming on and talking to you guys. Literally before I came on, I was filming a little bit and I was kind of like out of it. I was kind of feeling like meh. And I literally told the camera, I was like, you know what? I think I'm gonna live stream right now because I need my people. Like I need to see and hear my community and like talk to you guys. And I was just like, and now I'm like, and I haven't even had coffee yet. Okay, now I go. I'm gonna let you guys go. No more ranting. I'll see you guys next week, Thursday. Join the Discord. Amara, Discord link has been re-added to my link in the bio. It's back up. Like I made a new one. So Discord, we're trying to grow the Discord. See, look how happy I am now. Okay, I love you guys. I'm gonna go. Bye.